Hi, everybody. This is my persuasive speech on whether or not astrology is a scientific concept. It's probably safe for me to assume that a good majority of the people here know what astrology is. If you're one of the few that is not familiar, astrology is the study of how the movement of stars and constellations influence human affairs. Most often, people use astrology as a method of determining personality traits based on zodiac signs. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces are the options. Those that believe less intensely in astrology will focus only on the sun signs, which is the sign that you're most likely to be familiar with, which is based on your birth date. While more serious believers take into consideration all of the other signs, such as moon and ascending signs. There are, obviously, copious amounts of people that believe in this connection. Some take it to the extreme, and other people don't believe in it at all. I personally have the app CoStar, not because I believe it will accurately predict my day, but more so because I have fun looking at it and it's entertaining. I hope that the research I present in this speech will help you to see that although astrology is fun and can sometimes provide seemingly accurate and relatable predictions, it's not truly a scientific process. It is an ancient practice, though. Originating in thousands of years BC, it was brought to Greece by Alexander the Great, which of course resulted in the Romans also catching wind of this novel concept. According to an article by Thagard, Julius Caesar used to have his horoscope checked on a daily basis. Since the 1930s, astrology has become more and more popular, with most people knowing at minimum their sun sign. Quote, the immense number of combinations of sun, ascendant, moon, and planetary influences allegedly determine human personality, behavior, and fate, end quote. The arrangement of the stars on the date, time, and location of your birth create a chart. So I have an example. I already forgot. I have an example. So this is just this is my CoStar. So as you can see, this is my chart. So it tells me my sign for each of those things. And then if you scroll down, it tells you what each of the charts, each of the signs, how it is supposed to affect you. So like your ascending is the one that you most often present. My sun sign is an Aries, but I am definitely not, like I don't come off as an Aries. Aries tend to be very aggressive according to astrology, and that's just not who I am. So it will go through all of them. I won't make you watch the whole thing because it's just about me. So that's done. But astrology predictions tend to be extremely vague and open to interpretation, which allows each individual to take their horoscope prediction and interpret it in a way that makes sense for their personal life. So that also prevents anybody from disproving astrological predictions or proving that they are inherently incorrect. In 1975, there was a statement that was signed by 192 well-known and respected scientists that named three main issues with astrology. Quote, astrology originated as a part of a magical worldview. 2, the planets are too distant for there to be any physical foundation for astrology. And 3, people believe it merely out of longing for comfort, end quote. An article I read by Carlson detailed an actual experiment that they had performed to test the accuracy of astrology. They found that their participants tended to be pretty inaccurate when they were asked to select the horoscope intended for them out of a handful of different horoscopes. This affirmed their hypothesis that horoscopes are not detailed enough to apply to just one specific person. According to another article by Allum, more and more people over the years are coming to recognize that astrology is non-scientific. Scientists find concern with true believers of astrology because of the tendency to base important life decisions on, quote, entirely unreliable astrological predictions, end quote. For example, people may refrain from pursuing a perfectly valid romantic relationship because they have incompatible signs. So why do people think astrology is science? For starters, quote, the suffix ology connotes an academic field of study, end quote. Allum also says that, quote, people tend to assume that the more complex the information, the more accurate the predictions are, end quote. So this plays into confirmation bias, which he glosses over very quickly in the article. But confirmation bias is a psychological concept that defines the human tendency to interpret stimuli as a confirmation of our existing beliefs. So if I read my horoscope for the day, let me see if I can, hold on, whoa. Let me see if I can share it with you. Hello. Sorry. So if I read this this horoscope for the day. This is my horoscope for today. A friend or neighbor you need to contact could be in and out all day, so you could have trouble reaching to him or her. Phone or email probably won't work. The best way to contact is to hop in the car and drive to wherever they might be. Obviously, I can't do that because of quarantine, but so say I read that horoscope for today, and then my best friend doesn't text me back because she's asleep all day because quarantine messed up her sleep schedule. I might think that that horoscope came true, and therefore that would act as confirmation or evidence to me that horoscopes are always accurate. Another article that I read, which was by Dean and Kelly, also incorporated the impact of confirmation bias, though they didn't name it directly. That article looked at astrology as a psi, which is a supposed parapsychological phenomena. So in that article, they compared astrologers to the likes of psychics or ghost hunters, where, quote, the mind can extract information from objects rather than its own brain, end quote. So in all of those situations, the human mind is left to interpret otherwise neutral stimuli. So again, if I'm a firm believer in the existence of ghosts, I think ghosts are real. And I hear the wood of my house, the frame of my house, creaking in the middle of the night, I might jump to the conclusion that that is a ghost walking around in my attic, and that absolutely confirms that ghosts are real. So all in all, that article and every other scientific article that you're going to find out there are just going to tell you that astrology is left vague on purpose because they want you to believe it's a scientific concept so that you'll believe in it. But it's left vague on purpose, and it's not scientific. So this speech is not intended to dissuade you from continuing to check your horoscope if that's something that you enjoy doing. I definitely won't be deleting CoStar from my phone or anything like that. My goal is to inform you. As we heard from Allum, life-altering decisions tend to be made by believers based on the pseudoscientific concept, which could leave you in a terrible situation, realistically. If you think that astrology is the realest thing out there, and your horoscope for the day tells you that money is coming your way and you're lucky today, and you should play the lottery, and you go out and you play the lottery and you play all your money on the lottery and then you lose, that is terrible, and that will affect your life permanently. So next time you explore astrology, keep in mind that it's something that you should be doing for entertainment, not something that should sway the course of your life in any way. Here are my references. Let me show them to you. God, this share screen thing is crazy. Here are my references. Thagard and Carlson are who I talked about initially, and then Allum and Dean and Kelly came later. I hope you guys are staying safe during this quarantine. I wish you all the best. Bye.